definition, these pieces, just so you know, come from our mass violence toolkit. And at the end of this interview, I'll point y'all in the right direction to learn a little bit more. Often following an incident, you're going to see quite a lot of activity involving volunteers and donations. The surrounding community and indeed nation want to help and want to show their support, whether that's bringing a trained dog to comfort those in need or sending letters with condolences. Each incident is going to be different, but it's important that you have a plan in place to help you manage this. Taking volunteers first, part of your emergency operations plan or recovery plan should include knowing who your partners are and what role each of them can fulfill. Some places like to work with voluntary organizations in disaster, the American Red Cross, to assist with this. You'll want to think through who needs to be in that reunification and notification center, and then the family assistance center, and have those people pre-identified to help with serving food, providing grief counseling to families, getting information to families and victims, organizing child care, and more. Donations tend to take two forms, monetary and non-monetary. Where possible, you'll want to identify an organization in advance that's distinct from you to help with collecting charitable donations. And all of this can be sent to news agencies who can provide it via the public information officer or someone else about, again, these donations and these monies. Well, a process does need to be identified for training volunteers or recognizing them in advance of an event, and for supervising, assisting, and assigning them during the response and recovery phases. Know who you might need, get them ready, and have a way to call them up when something happens. For a school or university, we recommend you have an outside relationship or a series of professionals from outside your organization who can assist and can supplement your team, because your team's likely going to be at minimum impacted, possibly exhausted, and potentially even traumatized. Some volunteers are not going to be those that you've previously identified. They're going to be spontaneous, and they'll arrive offering services, and these people are not going to be previously known to you. You'll need a plan in place to identify that they are the licensed or credentialed individual they say they are, if you need their services, where you need their services, and how they're going to work alongside your existing or pre-identified team. Both types of volunteers will need to be checked in and out of the place where your volunteers are operating and where you're providing services as part of your overall plan to manage and to control the area where families and victims are. Short term, people are going to send you what they think you need, and you may have some very well-intentioned and very welcome surprises. You can also streamline communications and share with the media what you are and what you are not accepting, and where you're accepting items in terms of non-monetary donations. Cases of bottled water, food from a restaurant were sent to where the volunteers and families were following the Las Vegas shooting. Now, on the other end, a leotard was sent to Sutherland Springs. Perhaps not quite as useful as bottled water, but it gave the first responders a really good laugh. For non-monetary donations, you'll be processing solicited and unsolicited goods. If you aren't doing this yourself, a partner organization like BOAD tends to have expertise in this area and can help think through refrigeration for donated food, where to store thousands of teddy bears like Sandy Hook encountered. Long term, the community is going to be looking to you to say what you need, especially around a memorial service or if there is going to be a trial. Now for the money piece. Very quickly, following the end of an incident, you might need a plan in place to help collect monetary donations. We do recommend that any call for monetary donations, whether through a specific fund or an individual way like GoFundMe, have this call be fairly generic to meet unmet victim and community needs. Because there may be unmet needs a month from the incident for a victim, a year from the incident, and you don't want to be so specific that you aren't able to use these funds to assist with the memorial, to pay a police officer overtime, to meet a very specific victim need or other considerations. You also don't want to be so specific in your request for monetary donations that you inadvertently are unable to receive county, state, or federal assistance for something like a funeral. Based on the magnitude of the event, you might even need to set up a fund, like Boston did with the One Fund following the Boston Marathon bombing. Dealing with money can be difficult, but there are national models and some really good past examples to assist. Within 24 hours of the Parkland shooting, there were fraudulent GoFundMe accounts popping up, claiming to be collecting money for those in need. When the Broward County Sheriff's Department became aware of this, they put out communications directing people to the legitimate funds. And of course, they contacted GoFundMe to take down the incorrect ones. You may need to pre-identify someone whose role it is to watch for these fraudulent accounts, to alert GoFundMe, and then GoFundMe has their own process in place for identifying and deactivating fraudulent campaigns. Overall, the Office for Victims of Crime can help you come up with your custom plan for volunteer and donation management and many other aspects of preparing for victims of mass violence and terrorism, and we do this for free. This service is provided by our Training and Technical Assistance Center. Hop over to our website, www.ovc.gov, and come to my session to learn more.